Oh my god, yes! Finally, a good DBZ game! Unlike that piece of crap DBZ Connect that we reviewed last. Now, Joe, I can show you my real power!
You think you're the only one with power? Prepare to fight!
I see you've been training, Joe! Good! Good. That just means I don't have to hold back. Witness my true power!
No, you don't!
Prepare for your end! Emo Blue, Joe! More powerful version of blue. Whatever.
Ha! Is that all? I've been training way harder than you could ever imagine. I've achieved a level no one's ever seen before.
Huh? No, Joe! Don't! Joe! That's too much power! You don't know what you're doing!
You're witnessing true power. My back. Oh. Something's wrong. I feel so weak. No.
Final flash!
Oh, what the fuck? Does that hurt? I said no.
I love Dragon Ball Z, Joe. Let's go play. All right, it's good to be back. First review of the year. Let's start with a full disclosure. I've been a lifelong fan of Dragon Ball Z. I've seen every piece of animation. I've read so many things. I love all the characters. And I'm even working on an official Dragon Ball Z miniatures game, which you can learn about at the end of this video. So I am predispositioned to like anything DBZ related. However, I am AngryJoe, and I can tell you that I do know when certain DBZ things suck. And as the intro said, this is one of the best DBZ games I have ever played, and I'm just glowing about it. And while I enjoyed Xenoverse, I regretfully wasn't able to get around to a full review. A mistake I refuse to repeat here, as this game really inspired me. For those wondering though, Xenoverse was a solid 7 out of 10 for me, and Xenoverse 2, while making improvements, also misstepped and was a bit too similar for my tastes, ending at a 6 out of 10 for a second effort. After those, I played Dragon Ball Fusions on 3DS and hoped that someday we'd get a straight 2D arcade fighter on the big screen. And lo and behold, here we are, and this game freaking nails it.
Have you had this dessert they call pudding?
Huh? Pudding, you say? You there, give me one pudding cup.
No! All pudding for Joe!
Give it.
No!
Give it, you fool!
No! This is my pudding! Pudding for Joe! Okay, Lord Beerus, take it! I'll go play the game! Take it!
Now I'm mad!
It's based on the Unreal Engine, and it's from Arc Systems, the creators of Guilty Gear and Blaze Blue, who were almost tailor-made for this series. The graphics are just jaw-droppingly gorgeous. It really feels like the anime brought to life in 3D. There's bright, attractive colors. It's just a pleasure to look at. Pure eye candy. I mean, the backgrounds too, they're so interesting. They're multi-layered with destructible aspects and these little N-bit cinematics.
Ooh, nice. We're gonna end this with a nice little animation here. Oh my god, I gotta win! With Boba Joe. And that's how we'll end it, guys. That's a perfect way to end it. Destructive finish. Joe takes his first earned win.
And there's lots of little nice touches in the fantastic character animations. Some even fun inside jokes and certain attacks like Frieza's discs that come back at him.
Hey, look out behind you! Get down now! My own attack?
In my opinion, the graphics are far superior to both Xenoverses. And about the only thing it doesn't have is those little hand-drawn animation sequences that both Xenoverses had. And that would have just been the icing on the cake here. But honestly, it's not all that big of a loss because some of this game's cutscenes can look even better than that hand-drawn animation.
Impossible!
Unbelievable. All of my attacks hit her head on.
So what about the roster? Well, Dragon Ball has a bit of a character problem in that there are so many by now, hundreds, that it's damn near impossible to please everyone and expect all your favorites up front, especially in this day and age when we're just getting less and less from companies. However, FighterZ finds a good balance and does right by us by offering a really solid 24 characters at release, if you count versions of Goku, Vegeta, and a brand new character called Android 21. I love all of them, and I could really play anyone. It's quite surprising that Tien and Yamcha, of all people, are actually some of my favorites.
Whoa! We found Yamcha!
He seems to be okay.
Now sure, DBZ games in the past have gotten up into the hundreds of characters, but to me, 24 unique characters are better than say 50 or 60 that share the same assets or have the same shallow mechanics. And it's awesome to see FighterZ's approach to character unlocks. This is a boxed retail game done right. Sure, there are pre-order bonuses that get you 2 characters unlocked right away, but if you didn't pre-order, you are not punished into having to purchase them with real money. No, instead you can unlock them through actual play, either through arcade hard modes or by reaching certain in-game currency levels, 300k or 500k Zenny. That's old school. And thank God the in-game Zenny currency is not real money. There's absolutely no bullshit in-game loot box microtransactions here. Well done, Bandai. It deserves to be commended. Thank you guys. I'm surprised.
Yay, let's open capsules. All right, I got a ton of currency. Let's see what we get. In-game currency, no bullshit. Real money.
The way it's supposed to.
Trunks,
Hey,
Goku
you got
Black! Oh, Joe!
Got
High
lucky.
five. Let's go see. Krillin, hit. Goku Black. Oh, it's not a good color. Shit, I gotta keep going. Android 21, she's cute. Majin Vegeta, hell yes. I think I found mine.
And while there's only 24 characters right now, they managed to get in a few more creatively with various assists, like Ginyu having the full Ginyu Force as attacks. And while you won't be able to play somebody like Goten or Kid Trunks by themselves, you do get their more exciting fusion, Gotenks.
Wait, you don't know how to turn into a Super Saiyan, do you? Have no fear, Gotenks will teach you.
I don't remember asking a little punk like you for help. Go on, then.
All right, listen up. It's really easy. You just need to go, and then you go, ha! And then boom! You're a Super Saiyan.
Boom. Like that?
Which works way better anyway. And speaking of fusion though, I do wish you could fuse more people together in some kind of special mode because fusions are always awesome. You ready?
Yeah!
Let's do it, Joe! Sean! Ha! Oh, that was so sick!
I'm back.
It's disgusting.
Oh, what the f was
Joe,
that?
I felt you inside my butt.
We will never speak of this again.
Oh, we have to get it right,
I'm
Joe.
gonna be scarred for life.
Joe, if you want to reach the next
Don't
level.
touch me.
I'm sorry, Joe.
Don't touch me
We want
right
to reach
now.
the next level,
Oh,
right?
God.
We must have got the fusion dance wrong.
You think?
If you're off by even a centimeter, it's not gonna work. So what if we concentrate our minds on the Joe fusion? Meaning we can do it any way we want, Joe.
That might work.
Okay.
Okay.
Are you ready? Okay.
Oh God, oh God.
Ready? And go. Fusion power!
It worked! It worked! We're huge! And we have muscles!
Yeah, and we're really tall too. Like really.
Just never mind that. Never mind. Not all of us are all that short. Let's figure out our final move. Super's really lame. Just shut up and roll with it.
Okay, but how are the actual fighting game mechanics? Well, let's talk about that. They go for these creative 3-on-3 battles that remind you a bit of Marvel vs. Capcom series. You can bring in other characters for more powerful combined supers, some assists, and you manage their health by swapping them in and out to heal in the background while you work with one of your other fighters. It's all really strategic and makes for another great layer to the game.
That's a pretty nice synergy.
Right, you were.
Now with this system though, each character themselves won't have this insane long list of moves. Many only have around 5 or 6, but it's better to think of each of your 3 characters as one fighter combined, parts of a greater single team character. And in that search for the perfect team, there's some fascinating and really awesome synergies for players to discover between the entire roster. It's a lot deeper than it initially seems. It also continues the trend from recent fighting games and making the whole system far more approachable for new players and casual players and making it much easier to learn. So many of the roster have similar input commands for their moves.
You got it.
That kind of works.
Okay, do it again. You got it. Do it again. I think that was it, Chad.
Bye, George. I think he's got it.
Bye, George.
Now sure, there are auto combos in the game, and it's due to make it accessible to everyone. But, in my opinion, it doesn't ruin the depth, as players can discover manual combos that take some serious skill to pull off, but reward higher level play. And what that does, auto combos, is allows players to focus more on the Yomi gameplay and prediction, rather than whether they can even pull off the most basic special moves. Now, some people, of course, have taken this to saying that it makes the game simple and really shallow. These people have no clue what they're talking about and would likely get their asses kicked online against any real top player. Yes, those auto combos do allow you to juggle your opponents like a boss, make you feel better than you really are. But the instant you run into an experienced fighter or top player online, they will punish the hell out of these, as every character has built-in weaknesses into each of these. And trust me, they will put the fear of God into you if you misuse those auto combos. And it makes you realize that there's a hell of a lot more going on here than just simple auto combo button spam. Believe that. On the whole, the game offers 6 different game modes or areas, as the content is presented in this sort of interactive, hub area, social space for players that are all populated with avatars that all DBZ games seem to love doing lately. But you've got training mode with some basic tutorials, and a mode that I've always been harping on for fighting games to include, which is this little combo training section with challenges that show a portion of the hidden combos for each character that aren't the auto ones. But they show many, but not all. But unfortunately, the latter ones are really hard as hell and almost impossible for me to memorize and execute when I need them. As you can clearly see, I've not been able to 100% many of these, but it is a fun challenge to continue to try.
Fuck, I'm sick! This piece of shit! Fuck every fucking time! I can't do it, the fucking screen needs to turn the fuck around so that I can fucking do this right!
There's all these great fighting tools that one would expect, like record mode and practice mode. But one big glaring issue, at least for me, is how infuriating it was that in all these trainings and tutorials, that button key map that shows you what to press doesn't automatically switch sides if you end up on the other side of your opponent, leading you to pull off some of the wrong kind of moves over and over, and if you switch sides too often. It's harder for newer players, and hopefully they can patch that. There's local versus mode, in which I kick OtherJoe's ass all day long in.
Super
No! Son of a bitch. Do I have enough health for
Looks
it?
like a meteorite crash landed here.
Let's see. And we destroy the level. Destructive.
And there's an arcade mode with 3 different difficult multi-paths that give you rankings based on your performance. But there's no story card at the end or anything for fighters. By its finish, it's only the unlock of Super Saiyan Blue for Goku and Vegeta on those harder levels. Thankfully, there is a fully featured story mode. However, the approach they've taken here is a bit different from other games. The story plays out in cutscenes that lead to a specific chapter map in which you're given a set of number of turns to explore and fight at your leisure, acquiring certain boost modifiers for your team, like faster special generation, more attack power, more health regen. And it also gives you some rescue missions where you can go and recruit more DBZ fighters for your team.
Boo understand. First Boo fight, then Boo get pudding.
Are you really okay with this? Do you think you could even make pudding that good?
You're gonna owe me for this, Goku.
And all this eventually on your way to the boss before time runs out on the map, which is usually just the same thing you've been fighting before, just some specific clones or a story character. And there are these needless tutorials in the first chapter or arc, which serve to awkwardly slow down the action, as you pretty much ignore these because you've likely already played the tutorial. Don't know why they put them in there as well. However, there's some really awesome voice work here in both English and Japanese. You get a different cutscene depending on who you have in your team contextually and who you're fighting.
It's been a long time since the three of us got together in these uniforms. Reminds me of the days when I trained as a martial artist.
Actually, now that I think about it, I don't think we've ever trained together, Yamcha. So hey, why don't we go a few rounds?
Well, you're kidding, right? I wouldn't even come close to being a match for you. Not to mention, I've been giving up fighting. Krillin would be a much better training partner, okay?
Hey now, I've retired from fighting too. I got a family to think about now.
Well, I guess there's nothing I can do about Krillin having a family. Guess robot wives have needs too. But you know, Yamcha, you're not married, and you don't have a family or anything, right?
Well, you see, about that, it's complicated.
I have no idea what you're talking about. But if you don't have a real reason to quit fighting, then you should train with me.
Goku, are you even hearing the things that are coming out of your mouth?
Enough about me already. Let's just focus on the upcoming battle. Let's think of this fight as us training together, okay? Oh, and please try not to kill me.
And there's a ton of these funny exchanges, and you can really tell that the people who made this game are fans of the franchise, as it asks some questions some fans I think have always wondered.
It's never crossed my mind that a day would come when the two of you would be following orders from me.
Don't delude yourself, Frieza. We didn't come here to be your subordinates.
No, of course not. I would never accept recruits that lack discipline and respect like you two simpletons.
Yeah, well, and I don't want to do any weird poses before a fight either.
Weird poses? What in the world are you talking about?
You know, like the Ginyu Force. We'd have to strike poses like those guys, right? Wouldn't we?
Don't look at me. I don't instruct my men to do that. That's the personal preference of Ginyu and his men.
Oh, right. I thought all your guys did that. I don't know where I got that idea. Actually, Vegeta, didn't you used to...
I never did that! I would never lower myself to performing something so pathetic.
Ahem! That's enough of this. You people are intolerable.
Unfortunately, it's here where the game I think has its biggest weakness. Although there are 3 completely different arcs to play through, which gives you around 15 to 20 hours of content if played to completion, a lot of it ends up feeling like needless padding, and it gets seriously repetitive if played through in single sessions. I mean, this isn't the story mode of a NetherRealm game, the cinematic experience, or even recently Capcom. You can't really enjoy the story in that same way. There's also a serious lack of explanation sometimes. There are these different sub-events and special events that you can trigger, but the game won't show you how to trigger these in any intuitive way. Things just blip on the map for no reason. There's also a ton of these link events, which are essentially one-on-one conversations with your favorite characters.
You're mildly better than before by a small amount, but you're no warrior. I'll have you know, this isn't even a fraction of my true power. If I'm going to trust you with my body, I might as well teach you the proper way to use it. If I fall behind Kakarot because of your mistakes, I will end you!
But I've only got a tiny few and I beat the game. I guess it's asking you to play through time and time again to figure out all the different special events and what character needs to be with who, but to get more of them. But that prospect terrifies me since the battles are really repetitive. So you'll be fighting clones after clones after clones, just non-stop. Nah.
It would seem that the boy is not...
It's not another clone, is it? I've had rather enough of them, I must say.
If you put all the scenes together that are unique, I really do like it. But I realize that 80% of it is fighting clones and talking about fighting themselves to ad nauseum.
This is the first time I've ever gone up against one myself. Feels kind of weird. Know what I mean?
Yep, this is what I was expecting from my clone. It's seriously like looking into a mirror. If other people saw this thing and didn't know any better, they'd definitely think it was me.
It's a strange feeling to be face to face with my clone.
Whoa! I'm kind of surprised they made a clone of me. I guess, the Red Ribbon Army views me and my power as a valuable asset. But, since it's my clone, I should be able to go all out. I will beat this clone and show everybody that Yamcha can beat himself!
You have to press X to keep the dialogue moving, I guess to keep the player engaged, but it's unnecessary. And while there are a few dialogue choices to make in the game...
Of course I am. Someone will pay dearly for putting me in this position. Someone linked me with an Earthling maggot and is trying to use me.
None of it matters at all. There's even one nonsensical outcome that slipped through the vetting process. I kicked this boss's ass, who is a little too easy, only to then see I lost in the cutscene. That's cheap.
I can't die here.
12 seconds later.
We have no choice. We must retreat.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
How is this even? Whatever the case, I need to heal. And quick.
Those 3 arcs are then basically the same story 3 times over, just from different perspectives. And without the repetition, that probably would have been fine. But boy, it starts to get annoying when characters that you rescue are having to be brought up to speed on what's happening and explain the same situations over and over and over.
What's going on? Boo can't move well.
Yeah, about that. You've got some weird waves to think. Let me explain what's going on. Did you get all that? Ugh. I'll start again from the beginning, okay?
In summary, the first arc is a little too easy. It's got these awkward tutorials that stand in the way. The second arc is fun. It takes the training wheels off. You build the team and it feels good. But puzzlingly, it drops all of this for the awful third arc. You know, you've learned to build a team, but then here you just locks you into 2 fighters for most of it, with even more repetition than before. It's a serious letdown. Besides finally getting to discover what's really going on and unlocking a new fighter. It does get good right at the end. So the story mode is definitely where the game can improve the most in the future. And it's a shame too, because it is so beautiful and it's filled with so much charm and it has some really great voice acting.
Hey, you there. Do you know Dr. Gero? Oh, what, he's asleep? You gotta be kidding me. I'm asking if you were created by Dr. Gero.
Gero, that a stupid name.
Oh, for the love of... What are these things? Can they really be this stupid? Whatever.
Thankfully, there's countless hours waiting for players in the online modes. You got casual matches, you got ranked matches, arena matches that can be spectated, and they act as a bit of a king of a hill. However, at launch, I was having some problems with at least the arena matches. And although there are explanations for every section in the game, they don't often do a good enough job, especially with those ring matches. I couldn't figure it out. I think most people get confused by the wait around and sit in this little match sequence that's tiny, but it wasn't finding any matches, even though there were fighters all around me in the arena fighting. And when I created my own, where I had to learn, I had to press square, they didn't tell me anywhere, I was waiting for up to 30 minutes for anyone to join. It was odd. And worse, I wasn't able to specifically communicate my desire for them to join my ring outside of stupid little stamps that were no specific help. It was only until I disconnected and entered a specific ring lobby that players seemed to start to join my ring, as they were specifically looking for one. It's ultimately a private room for a bunch of players, and once you get it to work, it is pretty fun. Overall though, there is really great value and fun here, just like in Xenoverse. But in many ways, I actually prefer this one. I am so happy. I'm seeing so many 9s from press and 10s from fans. However, I do think the final verdict should be an 8 out of 10. The fighting is solid. There's a ton of modes and content, but the story mode could use some improvement, and a little bit more explanation could have gone into some of its other aspects. I'm also a bit shocked, and it needs to be said, that there's also a Kame House location and a city area location that do absolutely nothing. Likely placeholders for future modes and content, but it makes it feel slightly unfinished. But I'm sure when that's filled out, and with time, this will raise to a 9 out of 10. This is one extremely kick-ass first effort from Arc Systems on the DBZ license. And I'm giving it a badass seal of approval. Go out and buy this one, even if you're intimidated by 2D fighters. I think you'll have a ton of fun, especially as a fan. I really hope we see a sequel, because this one definitely earns it. So much so that I even purchased the character pass, which is going to bring my roster up to 32. As I was wholly satisfied with the game, and that is how it's done. I can't wait to see who they bring out next. I'm hoping for Broly, maybe Master Roshi, with his nose bleeds while he looks at nudie magazines as an attack. Or maybe Jiren or Bardock would be super cool too. Tell me who your personal choices would be. And until then, I'll see you guys on the next Angry Joe Show. What was that? Anyways, see you guys on the next one.
Wait! Don't leave! I finally mastered my final form!
I can do my Saiyan calisthenics class. It doesn't infect this part.
And then realize, yeah. Oh yeah, that's kind of hard. We'll see. Anyways,
I'll play with my butt.
Sure.
Witness me in all my glory!
Okay, wait a minute.
No! This is my pudding for Joe! No!
The pudding.
Hey guys, Angry Joe here. So I promised you at the beginning of the video I'd tell you a little bit about the board game I've been working on. So we do have, in cooperation with Jasco Games, the DBZ license. And we've been working on Dragon Ball the Miniatures game, which is going to be this 9x9 grid map. I've got some examples here. These are all prototypes. Nothing's been approved by the licensor. We've got meetings with them soon. But I'm just showing you some of this stuff to give you an idea of what it'll look like. So there's going to be these awesome anime-inspired artwork and maps, and with destructible terrain, and you take pre-painted miniatures, sort of like this. This one's from Japan, but we have prototypes coming in that make the game look absolutely beautiful. So you'll be fighting with these fighters. You'll each have a deck, and you roll dice, and you do different attacks, and the game can go up to 6 players, and it's using the UTS system, which is a system that I developed and created in conjunction with Alex Toon, and we just poured all of our passion and knowledge for DBZ into the game to make it as awesome as possible. So it is going to be coming out later on this year. I don't have a date. I don't want to put it to a specific date. A lot of this stuff has to go through approvals, though we're already in those processes. So I hope I can really count on your support for something really awesome. I want to blow out these miniatures and the production quality and make just a legendary epic board game. I don't care if we make any money off it. I mean, manufacturers are like, are you crazy? You want pre-painted miniatures? You want that? It's like, yes, I don't care. You know, they talk about margins. No, I'm talking about making the best possible DBZ game by fans for fans. So hopefully I can count on your support later on this year, and we're doing some other UTS systems and other games with Jasco Games. So you'll probably see a lot more of that on my channel. So stay tuned for my channel for updates. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and I'm so excited to show you guys more, all right?